I'm doing this painting of Halloween, and my picture has a haunted house with witches on top, ghosts, graveyards, haunted pumpkin, and a lot of ghosts flying around, a lot of bats flying around. So this is a sketch I'm doing, and I'm attempting watercolor pencils. So I have outlined and filled in all the mauves, reds around my project. My ghosts have been outlined, my witches have been outlined, my haunted house has been outlined. And once I have filled in my watercolor pencils, I will just dip my brush in water, plain water, and with loose brush strokes I will cover the page, and the effect will be the same as if I'm using watercolors. Putting the blue of the sky. And the thing about watercolor pencils is that you can blend, you can shade. It's a very beautiful medium and very enjoyable to use. So in this Halloween project, I have tried to use the watercolor pencils in most of the painting. The haunted house itself I have used with shades of grey and black and yellow with the light coming through. Got a very beautiful effect with the pencils. Just don't press your pencils down too deep, because the lead is very soft. See, now I'm putting in the water and how it's spreading. It's just as if I've used watercolors. Mix and blend your shades before you put in the water. I've used mauves, reds, browns over here, a little bit of black outline. That I had outlined it with a black watercolor pencil. The ghosts and the moon. The moon itself, I have left the white of the page to do its work. And for reference, I've taken a picture from Pinterest. That's a wonderful place to go to if you're a beginner. Pick up a simple project. Watercolor pencils are themselves very beautiful to use. The thing about watercolor pencils is that you could do very beautiful shading with them. I've used blacks, browns for the broom, put in her shoes, the witch's hat, her shoes. I've just blended her coat in very light shades of grey and black. If you don't have a board where you can tape on your project, I suggest you use the back of a tray which you're not using, because a lot of water is going to be used and the paper tends to get warped. So this is my Canson, 145 pounds of cotton pressed paper. The colors I will be using are Bristol watercolors and of course my watercolor pencils. And there are always watercolors dried up on my palettes which I spray and tend to use in any project I am working on. And the house seems to be taking form now. That's a wonderful experience when your project comes to life. The witches are on their broom, the haunting has started. This is a slightly lengthy project, and the details worked in are quite a few. Don't let it overwhelm you. Take one piece of the project at a time. Like I worked on my outlines first, then I went and filled in my witches, then I filled in my haunted house, and painted in a gradient. Like the behind of the haunted house becomes increasingly lower in height. The front of the haunted house is higher in height, so you can see a depth there. This is the some clouds I'm putting in just with a little bit of gray. That's it. If you've got too much water on your paper, just take your paper towel and press it on that. It'll soak it up and give you a lovely effect of a moon. I've made a very short version of this as well on my channel, but the tutorial explains it all. It's a slightly lengthy project, so bear with me. There's a lot you have to fill in. The initial sketching takes time and then it moves on. The pencils have to be kept sharpened well. I'm putting in the bats. Almost done. You could make your haunted house a little darker. You could make your witches a little more black. I chose to keep them in a light grey tone. My reference photo had it all stark black. I am not a fan of using pure black, and therefore I blend my colors on my palette and create a lighter shade. You have a lot of dark shades on your palette, And when you collect them all and mix them up, you get an almost black tone, which is better than using pure black. Just a few details left. We'll just put in a few graveyard stones, crosses, and the project is done. Then we will spray in a little white dots to signify the stars in the sky. This is not exactly a very dark sky I have made. I just try to create a lighter with this bleed white. I can bleed proof white. I can put in little streaks of white on the witches to give some form to them. I can use that. I have used that for my stars. So we meet you at the end of the project. To enjoy, to take out the time to do this beautiful Halloween card. And do put in your comments as to what you would like me to paint. Like, share and subscribe. I'm Seema Josen and this is my channel, Seema's Art, Tricks and Tips, and we call ourselves Dirty Palettes.